excellence in sports entertainment.
Right. I got two left hooves. Who on test? Well, since nobody's stepping to me, take me to your cult leader. Take me to your local drug dealer. Take me to the man in the mirror when you stand and deliver with your hand on the trigger, an emotional terrorist. I-double-M-U-N-E. Never make my enemy public. I'm a private dancer, dancing for money. Do that thing that's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spot Monkey Radio. Of course, I am your host, Tony. We have Michael Greco and Malik. They are also hosts of this fantastic show. We are being joined by our lovely producer, my wife. Hi. There she is. It's good to be here. I have to acknowledge something before we start, and we are going international, boys. I don't know if you noticed this.
No. Oh wow.
Guys talking in Japanese.
This is news to me. So anyone to translate that?
Maybe now
Yes.
that we're going international, just maybe myself and the wife could get added to the opening, sequence of the show.
It says, well, the name translates to, hold on,
Hi.
thereof.
Okay.
And it says, thank you for the series.
Oh, so he's impressed.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Wait, no, hold on. I have it translated here.
I was like, she's going to translate. It's going to say, you guys suck balls.
Yeah.
This show sucks.
Don't
I can't stand
day
it.
jobs.
Hold on. Let me do that.
Okay, good. That again.
ご覧いただきありがとうございます。
Ooh,
That didn't help.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
I heard arigato.
Oh,
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Like,
I tried to just say
Man,
thank you for watching.
This is starting off odd.
We are off the rails. We're off the rails 3 minutes into the show.
thank you so much
I just
for
figured
that.
I'd
We
sit here and
appreciate
mark
you
out.
watching. Yeah, we appreciate you watching. You're hanging out with me, Greco, and the Intercontinental Champion, Malik. I don't know if you was watching last night. Malik showed up, cashed in, and he won the title. Dom Mysterio didn't see it coming.
I must have missed that on Rebellion.
Yeah, probably. Dom Mysterio's too busy eating chicken fingers. Speaking of the shows, we're going to get right into it. We obviously will get to the big. Did The Rock, throw a monkey wrench in pro wrestling? We'll get to that conversation later. But right now, let's get to the breakdown of course, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and TNA.
You notice how Tony is so happy to say AEW.
Yeah. I almost throw up every time. Every time.
Our goal is to go no longer than an AEW commercial break. That will be the goal.
Even that's too long.
Okay.
I watched Raw, watched a little bit of SmackDown. And like I said, we'll get to SmackDown, but we'll start with Raw. Malik, did you watch Raw?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what'd you think of Raw? Obviously now it's what they call the new season of pro wrestling, right? WrestleMania was the official end of the year. This is the start of the year, so there's going to be fresh gimmicks, fresh angles, fresh storylines to start the new wrestling year. Raw is the first one to come out of the box, as you saw what happened at the end and everything like that. What did you think of Monday Night Raw?
As a reminder, all the time. Okay.
That's right.
John Cena coming out and letting the audience know. First of all, his new making the ring announcer announce him over again is great.
It is. I like that he says. I like that he says it's disrespectful.
Like he's really showing that he has an attitude and he's just bothered with the WWE universe. So since they ruined things for him for all of these years, he's just going to turn around and ruin things for them and what it is that they love. Randy Orton and him going at it back and forth. Apparently, the new thing that we're going to keep seeing is Cena being laid out by somebody. He's going to be taking their finishing move.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cena will always be getting the those kinds of like. All right, okay, give me a second. He will always have like those last laughs where like the guy gets over on him, but I assume at the pay-per-view it's always gonna be the payoff where he winds up winning it by the skin of his teeth or cheating.
Yes.
But here's the thing that, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and I know it happened on SmackDown, and I don't want to jump around, but a lot happened obviously this week. But it's the battle for John Cena. Like I told you, it's a scramble now to take the belt off him. Because now Randy Orton's like, you're not going to take that history from me because I'm a part of that history, whatever. Like, I like what they did there. We'll get to that. But like I said, I can already see it. I saw it on Raw. The way it is, it's just this is going to be a mad scramble. Oh, fuck, this guy's going to take the history of WWE with him unless he's basically Thanosing the WWE right now. He's basically WWE's equivalent to Thanos, where he, at the end of December, he plans on snapping his fingers. He's basically giving you a countdown clock. I really like
which I loved. I loved him doing
yes.
that. And him saying how many dates are left. Yes.
And that's not only the only thing. I like that he said, I don't have to wrestle. I just have to show up. You know? So what else caught your eye, Malik, apart from, of course, now, like I said, it starts. Let me ask you this, Malik. Did you assume that Randy Orton would be the next pick because it was in St. Louis, or did you have somebody else?
For sure, I had Randy Orton picked. I mean, he already had let Cody know that, hey, once you're done with Cena, whether it's you or Cena, I'm going for the championship. And how could it not be that he headlines in St. Louis? Who else would headline? Not Jey Uso. He couldn't even headline WrestleMania. You know something?
He couldn't even headline Monday Night Raw.
Somebody took a screenshot, I guess, of the closing minutes of the Royal Rumble match. It says the winner of the Royal Rumble main event at WrestleMania, not the runner-up. And if you notice, John Cena has a trend of that. He was the runner-up in 2005. He was the runner-up in 2010. And he was the runner-up this year. And at the end of it, whether he was, well, I know for the first one, he was the main event because you couldn't main event over Triple H at the time. So that was that. But afterwards, once we were in full the Cena era, he was the main event. And that was that.
Yeah. You know, it'd be funny is if John Cena was to use that. Like, let's say, obviously, this is just, fantasy booking, right? Let's say John Cena were to fight Jey Uso at like Saturday night's main event, right? Let's just say champion versus champion, just cause, right? It's a throwaway. Imagine if Cena said that he's like, they asked me if you should headline WrestleMania, and I said absolutely not. Like, imagine if they could have factored that kind of stuff in the promo, would it make it even more heel? Like, that would be, I don't know, that would be funny
vicious. That would probably send people in uproar, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what Cena's trying to do, though, isn't he? He's trying to turn people to boo him. It's just not working anymore.
Not working.
It's funny.
Yeah. And I think I didn't know if it was going to be done at Backlash. I had a feeling it would be some kind of match. I thought we would have gotten maybe we get into how it ends now on Raw, but I thought we might have gotten like Seth and Cena taking on either Orton and Punk or Orton and Cody. Like I thought Orton would be in the match. I didn't know if they would do one-on-one, but I'm perfectly okay with them doing Cena and Orton.
I think the big thing is that everybody wants to connect John Cena joining up with Paul Heyman and the rest of the new Heyman clan, or if people want to start calling them the new Dangerous Alliance, whatever it is you want to call them.
What was your question about John Cena?
Put the mic on.
If he's not giving anyone what they want, how do we know it's going to be the last time? Like he's hyping you up as the last time.
Oh, well,
and then it will show up one more time.
He addressed that. He said, all you people think that this is like a work. Like I'm gonna continue to come back, but I'm not. Like,
but that's such in the
I know in the fashion of pro wrestling, yes.
But I don't know.
But he did because his wife, and this is what me and Greco were talking about. He put the dates on screen. I had.
No, so now you expect it, and then he will just not do what he said because he already has done not what he said.
I understand that, but basically
fine. I'm just gonna bet that he's gonna come back at least one more time after he said he wasn't going to.
That's a safe bet for sure.
Yeah.
But
He will come back and
he
wrestle.
said-
I don't think he will.
He said, yeah, I agree. He said he
Or
would be
no,
back. He
even
will
just
make
show up.
appearances. No, he
Yeah.
said he would be
Oh.
back to make appearances and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He said he will that will be his last wrestling match.
Oh,
Okay, so in-ring career, retired
Yes.
from in-ring career.
In ring
Correct.
career,
He will,
yes.
of course, be an ambassador for the WWF.
You know, the same way, Trish Stratus did, and Lita did, and Ric Flair did, and Shawn Michaels did.
Okay. However,
Never retired. Never retired.
however, I truly
You see what I'm doing?
I
Yeah, there's a
truly
trend.
believe if it wasn't for that Saudi money, Shawn Michaels would have never came back. Because
Oh,
that is
my
the only
favorite-
time he's come back.
My favorite one, I forgot to mention, Mick Foley.
You want to talk about a fucking guy who retired every other month?
He started. I'm sorry. No. Wait. Hold on a second. I apologize.
Terry
Terry Funk. May he rest in
Terry
peace.
Funk, yeah.
He started the trend on retiring and coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm an
Yes.
old man. I can't fight no more.
I'm going home. My horse is sick.
Yeah,
That's
the next month, you son of a bitch, you got me right out of this chair, didn't you?
I think as soon as Cena was doing his promo to start Monday, and he goes, "I'm the last of the old generation," and whatever else he said, you knew just either Orton's music was hitting or how they did it was perfect. Him coming out of nowhere.
How he closed it, he was like, "There's nobody in this locker room that I am the last real world's champion. There's nobody here that can like blah blah blah." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, Orton, where the fuck is Orton?"
Yeah.
And then he popped up right from behind him and RKO'd him. Listen, we said it after WrestleMania. I know this is a hard segue, but I love Dom Mysterio as Intercontinental Champion. I already love the dynamic now where like Finn Balor does like he's like, "Oh no, it's all right. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," but you already see like the writings on the walls, like it's coming. It's just when does the street drop?
Yep.
But I did like the I guess the re-edition of JD McDonough because I believe, as crazy as this may sound to you guys, but I think Dom Mysterio might be the new leader of the Judgment Day at some point. And when like this whole thing with Finn Balor comes to a head, and I think you're going to think McDonough is going to choose Balor, but he's going to stay with Dom. Just the way he was celebrating with Dom when Dom won on Monday, and then Finn was like, "What the fuck? Where'd you come from?" You know, like the way I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is going to come to a head where Balor's going to turn to him because they were boys. Like he got him into the Judgment Day, right? And he's going to choose Dom over him, and it's going to be a whole thing." Is that you guys are in the same realm or what?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm questioning whether or not we will see the return of the Demon Finn Balor. I felt like when we did get him against Edge at WrestleMania, it didn't really serve a purpose for me, especially since he was a heel. As a babyface, I believe people will love to see that again, but I'm just questioning if we're going to get that side of him again.
Well, we're starting to get face Balor. You could tell little things like when he comes out again, he's starting to do his hand thing. You know, like he's slowly going back to the old Finn Balor. What I like with the JD McDonough thing is that, you know, it sucks how he got hurt, especially, but people felt bad. So when he showed up the other day, it wasn't like, "Oh, great, it's JD McDonough." It was like, "Oh, all right, cool, JD McDonough's back."
It's like, oh, it's good to see he's back and alive and well. Yeah, well, because that was this nasty spill that he took.
You know, and I do agree. I think Dom will take over. You can kind of like see all the writing on the wall.
You see it, and that when I look at that faction, I like Finn Balor. Like he can obviously fit. He's not because he's been there, but like it looks like a CW like bully group, like a high school bully group. And I don't see Finn Balor like he's too old. Like he like looks like the old guy where you're like, "Buddy, you're hanging out with teenagers." You know, that's what it kind of looks like to me. So I think he is like obviously the odd man out. Carlito to me is just comedic gold. At this point. He's just he's just the guy in the back going, "Yeah, balls." Carlito at this point. You know, so I just so I just assume Finn Balor is the next one. He's the next one to go babyface, obviously, and turn. I don't like that they keep using the term good guy and bad guy. Randy Orton and Cena said it again on Friday.
I remember hearing it, and I just feel like, you know,
I cringed.
Is that for new generations who don't
It-
understand feelings
I
yet?
don't know. I cringed when I heard
It-
that.
Like
Yeah.
young-
Okay, so I don't mean to fast forward into it. You know what? I'll just wait for the topic. I'll remember it and I'll go back to it because
Well,
you just said
speaking of
something.
good guy, bad guy, we had a good guy become a bad guy then, which made no sense at all to me. Which literally says to me now Becky Lynch, what were we doing? Why did we take Bailey out of the match? Why did
Again,
we
I don't understand it. Yeah, it made no fucking sense. And then they just turned her heel. And I guarantee you it's only because they want to put her with Seth and Heyman.
Okay,
and-
so go ahead, continue because I thought about something.
I'm only because like I know because she's one of the people they're speculating is going to join. They're like, oh, he should have a female and it should be Becky Lynch and blah blah blah. But it's like you made this pomp and circumstance bullshit return for this dummy. She shows up, they win the tag titles only to lose them not 24 hours later and then turn heel. It made no fucking sense. It
So
made no sense.
now we have to sit and speculate who's the person that took out Bailey. Because if it's not Becky Lynch, we have to assume that it's Roxanne Perez. And here's why. That was a story that they started on from NXT and brought it over to the main roster. If I'm not mistaken, Bailey may have eliminated Roxanne, or it was the other way around at Elimination Chamber. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Roxanne
But-
eliminated her at Rumble, and then I think Bailey. No, I don't remember which way it went, but yeah, they've been involved with each other, and we never got a payoff for it.
So Roxanne is debuting, I guess, actively as a member of the Raw roster against Rhea Ripley tonight. I think we're going to find out that it's Roxanne Perez that attacked Bailey, and it's not Becky Lynch. Because
That would
you
make the
know,
most sense because that's what you're setting the storyline up for.
Right, which
Yeah.
I'm all for. I'm all for, and that would make perfect sense. Here's my issue: why then is Roxanne coming out during EO and Vicaire because of the match that they're about to have on NXT the next night? But then why is Julia showing up?
that was interesting. I was just like, oh
Yeah.
man.
You know
What-
why?
I was
It's
like-
because they're trying to just create that bullshit post WrestleMania Raw buzz. Oh, look, Julia from NXT showed up. That's what it is. They're just trying to do that bullshit.
It kind of worked because it wasn't a bad episode of Raw.
Yeah,
No,
Raw-
it actually wasn't. My only issue with it is in 2.5 hours we only saw 4 matches.
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
It's the Raw after WrestleMania, so it's all going to be mostly segmented so that they could set up the
No.
storylines for starting the year.
we got
Yeah.
matches we weren't expecting to see
True,
this week.
true.
I was not expecting to see, Stephanie Vaquero coming to show up to face Io Sky.
Right.
Like on SmackDown, I was not expecting to see, and we'll get there
Okay.
later. Jade Cargill against
Jade and
Tiffany
Tiffany.
Stratton.
Yes.
These were matches that you just didn't think were going to happen, and it was cool that it did.
Are you saying right as the wrestling year started after WrestleMania? WrestleMania is basically the exclamation point of the year, so they tie up a lot of their shit. So then, basically, when you go into Raw the next day, you have nothing. It's back to zero. So now you have to start unless some of them continue or start at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and obviously
because
go into the new year with them. But
there's
if
some stuff I'm not happy about that
Yeah.
transpired on
a
SmackDown.
lot of
When we
stuff
get there,
ends,
we'll
they
discuss it.
basically restart the next night on Raw.
So we we had the Becky thing. We also got another return.
Let's
Gonna
talk
go
about the
back.
New Day. The New Day on the verge of defending their tag titles against
Yeah.
Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
the only
and then we
tag
get the
team that
return of Rusev, which I mean I have no issue with. He looks great. You know,
It's one of those things where maybe you guys are in the same boat, and I don't know. I hate to be this guy, but our generation, like we popped so hard when people returned that when I see it now and I look at the crowd, I go, man, they didn't really give him the reaction I would assume. But I don't know if it's because it's just like not the same anymore. Like guys aren't stars the way they were when we were young, like when we were watching. Like when Scott Hall jumped, you were like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like when he came out on WCW, when he showed up on Raw, when he walked down, he did his whole Rusev Machka shit. I was just like, all right. The same thing on Friday with the other guy, but like it was just like Monday. I'm just like, all right, he's back. You know, he beat them guys up. I don't even think the crowd like.
Well,
They
because
didn't-
no one understands why. Like, what was the point of him beating up a tag team?
I assume it was because you go out there and beat two guys up because you're Rusev and you're back, and we're gonna want to make you look strong. So you go out and beat two guys up, and Otis is, you know, a little meatball, so you beat him up, and now you look, you know, you're back and you're unstoppable. I get it, but like you just said, he beat up Alpha Academy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like you want to know what would have been a better return? Again, fantasy booker for you. If Gunther was out there talking shit about tapping out, and then he came out and put him in the fucking Accolade, you know, and then you can maybe go with Gunther and him now. But now Gunther
Well,
is suspended.
you could have also had him beating up Mac. You could have had Gunther beating up McAfee. You could have did the same thing, and it's Rusev that comes out to
Rusev
make
that
the
comes
save.
out. Yeah. I just didn't like the way they presented it with the Alpha Academy. What say you, Malik?
Seeing as how I feel like Gunther's losses will always be somehow spaced out, that would make me think, all right, you brought back Rusev to feud with Gunther, and Gunther's going to lose to him. I'm not buying it.
Mhm.
Just not yet.
Yeah.
I'm still not buying the man getting choked out, but it is what it is. It happened. I have to let it go, but I won't. I'm just
Did
being
you enjoy
honest.
the segment that he came out and he beat up Pat McAfee? Like,
It was cool. I wish that he, much like Aleister Black, had his regular theme music as opposed to. I think that would send out a bigger pop. The change in music for certain people is what most folks are not reacting to. So when you hear it, you're just like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, who's
I
that?
never heard that theme before. That was kind of like when Zelina Vega came out, and I was like, wait. I was like, is she using the SmackDown theme song, the Megan Thee Stallion song? It sounds similar, so you can't
Similar, yeah.
figure out what's different.
Tony, I like the McAfee thing. I thought
Okay.
it was good for a couple of reasons. One, throughout the show, Michael Cole's like, "Oh, we finally have a champion that smiles now. We finally have a champion that's for the people." Like taking little jabs at Gunther.
okay.
You know,
Okay.
and the main thing I really liked, because if you think about it, if it was a real situation, I like that they had McAfee's guys jump the guardrail and try to like get involved in security.
That made it look very real.
That made it look realistic.
That made it look very real.
If
Yeah.
we're in a situation where Tony's getting choked out by a guy and we're sitting there, we're going to do the same thing. So, like, I felt like that was good. And then, you know, McAfee, one thing that's great with him is he goes on his show the next day. Oh, my throat's still killing me. You know, my neck hurts. Like, all this stuff. And, you know, it's bullshit, but at the same time, it's at least him working his job.
He's a
He could
great
have showed up in a neck
interview.
brace.
Yeah, that would have been great.
He could have showed up in a neck brace for the draft, like somebody did last year.
My wife was watching that, and she was like, "Why is his face so red? He must really be squeezing his like. Must really be putting the pressure." And I said, "No." I said, "No. McAfee's just Irish." I said, "Irish people just get like that. The sun comes out, they turn red."
They turn red. No, but it was a good statement. It was a good way to. Now you keep Gunther off TV for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in time for Money in the Bank.
Something like that, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But like
that's the kind of match you could put him in that he could lose without losing.
But here's the thing too. Him and Gunther, and if Rusev, if you would have done that segment, they didn't even have to touch. They could have just had a stare down, and the build up. They were like, "Oh shit, Gunther and Rusev!" Like to me, that would have been a much more impactful or a much more memorable return for Rusev, as opposed to him just coming out and first off, he came out and he kicked the shit out of two baby faces.
Yeah.
So is he a heel, or what were you trying to establish there? I didn't understand that return.
Or you
don't
want
know.
the big return of Rusev, I get it, but you could have had that happen with McAfee and Gunther in like 2-3 weeks. Gunther come back, he's got McAfee in the ring and be like, you know, challenging McAfee, and McAfee be like, "Listen, I can't get into a ring with you. I know how this ends." He goes, "But I got someone that will step into the ring on my behalf."
Yeah, I just feel like they don't have like those kinds of returns anymore. It's just like this
Him-
bullshit. Like just go out there, get the cheap pop, and come back.
Him beating up Alpha Academy made me as interested as seeing Dana Carvey and John Lovitz actually supposed to star in Bad Boys. I don't want that. I'm glad it never happened. That was the original idea 30 years ago, by the way.
Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
Thank God they went another way.
Thank God Dana Carvey did not see himself being a playboy because
No, he
Yeah.
saw himself. He saw himself doing Who's Line. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, he did the Dana Carvey show for that one
Oh,
season.
that too. That's
there
right.
you go. I'm
But
pretty
then we-
sure. I'm pretty sure we'll have Rusev up against both of these guys probably in a handicap match tonight. Possibly
Yeah.
because they'll do something like that.
They're gonna
Guys,
do-
you want to know what's
now
crazy?
that he's back.
You just Malik. You want to know what's crazy? The way to last week has been with wrestling. You just said tonight, and I realized that today was Monday.
Today's
And
Monday
there's
night.
wrestling on again.
Yeah, we had
Every day.
wrestling on every day since before even WrestleMania came.
Oh my
It's
god!
been nonstop. It's nonstop.
Oh,
That's why I don't watch it
Are-
all. It's too much to consume.
We don't
Too
like
much, not enough
like
time.
last night. Last night I was asked if I watched TNA pay-per-view, and I said no. So much stuff was going on for me that I was just like, I will get to it eventually. The only
get
thing
to
that I
it.
saw that was
Yeah.
crazy was Leon Slater hitting that 450 and nobody catching him.
nobody catching him. Yep.
Super high above.
Yep.
And I was just like, yo, how are you
So
breathing still?
how do we feel about how Raw ended with the new? Well, I guess we can call them the new Dangerous Alliance.
I mean, I
Uh-uh.
like the idea. I like the idea of it, and I like Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins together. I think that's a cool team. I would go 2 more people at least. I would go like with a new age style 4 horsemen, where
Okay.
Heyman is like the JJ
Who are
Dillon.
your two guys?
I would go with a tag team. I was thinking Street Profits. I just thought
They're SmackDown.
they're on SmackDown, obviously. Thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure a draft might be coming soon, so who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, so it might be a mix-up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come over because I'm of the guy who's like, all right, the world title has been on Raw long enough
Mhm.
to where I could see it now going to SmackDown and the WWE title switching back over to Raw now because now Raw is the A brand again because it's on Netflix, right? And I could see Jey Uso fitting better on SmackDown as that champion, and John Cena obviously bringing that over
Mm,
here. But
I
I
hear
mean,
what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm just that's just, when the draft comes. That's just my speculation in my head. But in terms of a fact, like 2 people to put with them at this point, if you're gonna just stick me to Raw, I want him. I'm thinking a tag team because those 2 guys are singles wrestlers. Seth Rollins would be your world
Yes.
title guy,
Mhm.
and then obviously Braun Breaker's got to go back for his Intercontinental Championship. So I'm trying. In terms of who would be a tag team on Raw currently that I would stick with them with Heyman, so that Heyman could get over. It would be a really good heater.
Okay,
You know?
I understand your idea and your thought, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're keeping John Cena on SmackDown for ratings
Mm-hmm.
because it's
All right,
it's televised. So that's why I would leave Cena where he's at. I don't know if that because I was like, if you move Jey Uso, it might hurt him to move him over
Mhm.
to SmackDown.
All right.
I wish that you could just put 2 more young guys in this group, like an Austin Theory or Carmelo Hayes, and maybe not even put them as a tag team. But
Mhm.
that would probably be what it comes down to if you think about it.
Well,
Because
I could also,
him and Grayson Waller, I'm ready for that to be over with.
yeah, and I could also see something like that happening, and then just taking Becky as the 4th. So then it's just a young guy, right? The newest guy that's like going to be the next it guy in Braun Breaker, the current it guy in Seth Rollins, right? And then you would have the man, right, in Becky Lynch with them. So you'd have like a really, I mean, an impressive faction, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know where they go from here.
Tony is not
All right. All right.
I don't know.
I got
Man.
because Becky Lynch. I know that's
I do
fine.
agree. I do agree with the Becky part. I do think you put the female part in there just to have your female champion, whatever she is.
Hmm.
I like the Austin Theory idea, but what I
Austin
think
Theory's
is
a very good idea. Yeah.
everyone keeps thinking that it's Waller that's going to turn on Theory. So the way you can kind of mold this is you have it where they tell them, well, we're taking one of you, and Waller's doing no, well, sorry, Austin, and just Breaker do the head shake and fucking spear Waller out of his shoes. Or if you're gonna put a tag team and you're gonna give Waller, or you're gonna give Theory like a heater, you have Jeff Cobb sitting waiting in the wings, and they still have Hoka Leo, no?
Hikuleo. You know
Hikuleo?
something that's like the biggest rumor that they said that he signed, and it's just like we're waiting.
So you
We're
could
waiting.
always you could put even the two of them. You could put Cobb and Hokalia if you want to bring them in as a team. You could put Cobb and Brunson Reed is going to be back pretty soon.
I'm gonna say something crazy for both of you right now.
He would
How
be a good
about we send a 7'3" Nigerian giant back to the Raw roster and have him as the bodyguard with protection? He doesn't need to wrestle every night. He can be that special attraction when needed. The way Andre was supposed to be, the way they should have presented Big Show.
Yeah. That'd be good too.
I mean,
That'd be
I'm okay
that's
with
a
that.
thought.
I'm
It's a
okay
thought.
with that.
Yeah.
My only issue with that is I love almost the heater, the protection for Seth. Braun doesn't need the protection.
Yeah, but he can always use the insurance policy.
He could be the protection for Seth and Heyman, the way I see it.
Okay.
Braun obviously can do things when necessary, and if he needs that help, there's Omos.
Well, I mean, Heyman's going to need it more than anybody because obviously Roman's gunning for Heyman, and so is Punk now.
Correct.
Well, and because of the events, do we think now at Backlash we get Roman and Punk teaming up against Seth and Braun, and that'll get us our new member because someone's obviously going to help.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
I could see that.
But I
like-
like how it's set up. Though. I like where it's going. I like that they obviously have a game, and this obviously will tie into what we talk about at the end about The Rock. But I'm finally understanding that like Triple H has a game plan, and if you just kind of like, I know WrestleMania was a dud. A lot of people were very disappointed with it, but I think his hands were tied, and I think he's now trying to show you I had a game plan. It's just if you just let me kind of play it out here, I promise I won't let you down. But it was kind of fucked up. I mean, listen, I didn't really watch SmackDown. If you guys want to graze over, you guys can touch on AEW and TNA because I didn't watch any of that stuff. So
All right, I want to stop you right now, and I'm going to tell you what the biggest issue is with everything we just talked about.
Okay.
We barely spent more than 10 seconds talking about the champion on Raw, and that right there is why he will not have the belt past SummerSlam.
Oh, you're talking about Jey Uso. So to backtrack, to go through real quick, you had Jey Uso come up there, cut his promo, and then Sami Zayn interrupted him. And everybody's just like, why is Sami Zayn coming out? And when Sami Zayn comes out, he comes out to tell him how proud he is. Now, initially, our minds thinking, oh, you want a title shot. You want to be the first person in line. And, I can still see that possibly being a match. And then they went to go yeeting, and everybody starts screaming because they think that the attack is happening. The attack is happening. He's ready to just take out Jay. And that doesn't happen because Jimmy comes out. And it was like, wait, why is Jimmy here? He's supposed to be on SmackDown. And all it was one big celebration. I do feel that was a tease of something.
Something's happening.
But I don't think we need Sami Zayn to turn heel.
No.
I don't think we need Sami Zayn to turn heel.
I think gone are the days of guys just saying, "I need to know," like I need a shot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the last guy who said they needed to know embarrassed Hulk Hogan 20 years ago. So he said he needed to know after the fact. By the way,
After the fact.
I just need to know. I just need to know.
No,
I needed to know.
I worry for Jay that it's not gonna go well quickly because you kind of have to give him someone like a name with a purpose right away.
I think Sami Zayn. I mean, you don't have to turn Sami Zayn heel. I can see Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn.
I don't think we've ever got a Jay Sami Zayn one-on-one match for the most part.
I think that would
We've
be
always
good.
had them in tag matches because of the bloodline up against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So to have a one-on-one title match would be a nice thing to see between the two of them. Obviously, it's going to be
Speaking of the
competitive, and Jay's going to pick up the victory in St. Louis. Is how I
Speaking of the bloodline, somebody made a very interesting point about it. They said that Sami Zayn came out, Jimmy Uso came out, Roman didn't say a word to Jey Uso, and then when Roman started getting the shit kicked out of him by Seth's group, they didn't come out to help him at all. So the bloodline is officially like kaput because like Roman didn't acknowledge the fact that Jay grabbed the brass ring, but Jimmy and Sami Zayn did, and then at the end. they were obviously in the building. But
Hmm.
they didn't come out to help him. So like the bloodline is done.
That's not wrong. I just think that they wanted Roman for the pop at the end to come help Punk.
Oh, I understand that, but when they both started getting the shit kicked out of them,
Oh, no, I get what you're
Actually,
saying.
nobody
Right, yeah, I get what
came
you're
to
saying.
help.
Nobody came out to help them. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I get
Yeah.
what you're saying.
So that
Well, the
that's
last time I think the last time we've seen the bloodline in full force was the Royal Rumble. So since then, everybody has been doing their own individual story. Sammy with KO, Roman with Seth and Punk, Jay and Gunther with his brother tied into it. So it's like they got their individual stories, and at some point, maybe they'll play back to joining forces again at some point. Because sitting here thinking about it, we know that Survivor Series is going to be hosted in San Diego. Everyone is just
Yep.
going, but it's not labeled War Games or anything. And I said, we have to get there. We got
We have to
time
get
before
there.
we get there.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know?
yes.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
build that
going to
up.
be War Games, and it's probably going to be again the Heyman Alliance, whatever it's going to be against
Bloodline.
whoever.
I really do hope that I really do hope it's called the Dangerous Alliance somehow, some way.
I would be okay with that. I would be
I
totally
can
fine.
clearly see that Heyman have the mic and him being like, this group here, it looks like something dangerous. It looks like an alliance of some type, and like him just give that little Paul Heyman smirk.
I hope he doesn't say it the way you just said it, because I'll hate it.
Well, you hate it more because it sounds like it can happen.
Yeah, of course. I'll be like, "Ugh."
Come on, dudes.
Fucking Greco. Never gonna hear the end of this.
So,
That's it.
how bad was AEW this week?
Okay. Let's see.
Hold
What
on.
did I like?
I'm trying to think.
Hold on a second. I like that Stokely Hathaway is with FTR. I
Agreed.
don't know why, but I don't feel like they need a mouthpiece, but maybe they do. Because sometimes Dax will just take you places that sometimes you don't care to hear his voice anymore. And I'm a Dax Harwood fan. Stokely being with them now is going to be something interesting as they go back for the tag titles. Obviously, anything with the Hurt Syndicate is money. With MJF still trying to get in, and Lashley is just not for it.
Do
Am I
you
missing
think?
out anything else that I like?
I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna bring some real world stuff into this. The pay-per-view, the big one and all in, is in Texas, correct? So
Yes.
as of right now, FTR are the heels, and the Hurt Syndicate, if they are still the champs by then, would be the faces. In a place like Texas, a team like FTR would probably get cheered over the Hurt Syndicate.
Well, I don't know. They're also hanging with Stokely Hathaway, so it's questionable.
And I feel like that could be a reason why, like putting a
Yeah,
little
they
heat
get a
on
heater.
them with the
Yeah.
southern crowds.
Yeah, just giving him a heater.
Don't
But they
worry,
don't
Texas. Greco didn't say you guys are racist.
I know, that
Anyway.
was literally what a snide way to say that, by the way. dude.
He didn't
Yeah,
say that at all.
FTR is
Southern.
that kind of tag team that'll be, right up Texas's alley. I'm just saying.
Southern.
Yeah, you're over here. I reckon we like them FTR boys, huh? Like,
Yeah.
that's literally what you gave them.
Like, oh, damn,
Listen, I
love
live in
me some
Florida now,
FTR.
guys. I see what goes on more than not. All right.
Jesus Christ, bud.
I mean, I don't think that will be a real issue going into Texas. People are going to cheer for who they cheer. As far as wrestling fans go, unless you're completely fucking ignorant, then it's a different story.
You're talking what they refer to as mud.
Your brain went to like 1970s, 1980s. So I was just like, man, Kamala was so hated back then. That big nasty heel. or as Greg Valentine feuding with Junkyard Dog, calling him I'll never forget seeing that promo on YouTube. Calling him a dirty black man was wild for 1984. Okay.
What the fuck?
I'm trying to figure out what else on AEW was like. Okay,
We basically got the confirmation of Samoa Joe and Moxley for the title at whatever their next pay-per-view is.
You want to talk about random matches that I don't think anybody will have any real interest in, because we know the outcome of this match. We know how it goes. John Moxley's going to retain, folks. And it might be the first time that I actually skip out on paying $50 for an AEW pay-per-view. That's right. I know, Tony, that's making you cringe right now. It's also making your lovely wife cringe as well. She doesn't even have to look in your direction. She just probably just frowned at the desk.
Well, I think we're
I
talking
get
about
it.
AEW. I think we're talking about AEW, so she turned the mic off.
Buddy, that's at least 2 to 3. That's at least 2 to 3 Marvel Legends action figures that I would have so much more fun with than watching AEW. I swear. He spent $50 on an AEW pay-per-view every month. This guy. That's a good question.
I'm a wrestling fan. I'm gonna stick to it. That's it.
He wants to watch it all.
I would try to watch them. It's just I can't handle like starting a pay-per-view at 8:00 and not going off until midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah. You know, maybe my question should have been, what did you like about AEW? We probably would have gotten through it faster.
Well, no, that was kind of fast. I mean,
Yeah, that was kinda fast.
as far as anything else, there's nothing else that I could say. I didn't watch Collision. Yeah, I watched Dynamite, and it was what it was. And we can move
now you
to...
said you didn't. Thank you so much for subbing the Resident Evil AMC. I appreciate you. You said you didn't see the pay-per-view, right? Rebellion that was on yesterday.
No. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll get into the one thing Malik brought up before, because I don't know if it was you or Pun that sent it out at the other group chat about the guy doing the 450 and nobody catching him.
Yeah.
The only
Did he hit the floor? Like what happened?
He went through the arms and straight to the... He's high above. It was an Ultimate X match, and he's extremely high above upon the corner end of their structure.
The Ultimate X structure.
Yes. And straight down, he does the Swanton 450.
Jesus.
And
Christ.
he went down, and it's probably about 6 guys down there, and he went right through all their arms.
Can you now? This might be this is I don't know why I'm asking this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can you explain to me what the fuck a 450 Swanton bomb is?
You basically, the way Jeff Hardy would go for a Swanton bomb, but you manage to flip forward, go through, and that's basically what it is.
So
you start out like a Swanton, and your body rotates over into the 450.
You dive out like this, the way Jeff would,
Correct.
and then you spin.
Correct.
Another time.
Correct.
Pretty much.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
The only significant tie-in we had is on NXT. Trick and Oba were having a confrontation, and Joe Henry came out on NXT, and basically Oba and Joe Henry laid out Trick Williams. And then last night, after Joe Henry retained the title, Trick Williams came out of nowhere and laid out Joe Henry.
So he was victorious over Ethan Page and Frankie Kazarian. And Trick comes out. And it's questioning whether or not Trick is a heel now.
Yes.
Because that's kind of where it's giving off and going to.
How do you feel about Trick? Trick, do you like him at all? Because I don't really see anything.
To me, he's great on the mic. As far as in ring, he's still a work in progress, like most folks are.
That's kind of how
He's the kind of guy. If he's in there with the right guy, it's a good match.
He's more over than Carmelo, though. I hate to say he is.
Agreed. But Carmelo was the better worker. That's why
there's no argument there.
Right, and that's why those matches were so good, because Melo was able to carry him through it. So you have Trick comes out, the crowd gets into it, everyone's going nuts. He's got a great look, but the match starts and Melo's the guy then.
Yeah, I like Oberfemi. I like that guy.
Oh, that's we are over feminist in this chat.
I said to I was watching I forgot what NXT it was, and I said he speaks like a superhero. And she said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "He speaks like Black Panther." I was like, "I love it." They were saying something, and he was like, "Enough talk!" And I just popped. I was like, "This guy talks like a superhero." This is sick. I'm in.
The last show when he came out, he literally says the Thanos line.
Yeah, he did.
He's literally He's like, run from it, dread it, for I am here. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, let's go.
I was like, he speaks like I feel like I'm watching Black Panther. I was like, like I love the way he speaks. I was like, this guy is already. I mean, I can't wait till he is champion. of NXT.
I give Oba one more year before he's on the main roster.
That's what I'm saying. I'm excited to see when he makes the move to the main roster. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And
No,
I,
with
I-
NXT.
the one match I want to go out of my way to try to watch because people were raving about it. I haven't, like I said, I like Malik. I didn't get the chance to watch all of it. Was the Santana Mustafa Ali match?
Yeah, I heard
From the highlights, it looked pretty solid. It was false count
Yeah.
anywhere. I have no idea who won, folks.
I didn't read much
same,
about
same.
TNA. I literally was on the toilet today, and I just saw the some of the stuff, and I just saw a little bit of Santana and Mustafa.
And you know what's really funny? And then before we go to SmackDown, you had Ethan Page leave TNA, and then Josh Alexander becomes this mega guy for them. And everyone's like, well, Ego went to AEW. He's supposed to be the guy. Maybe Ego's the Jannetty, and Ethan and Alexander's the Shawn. And
No.
Ego leaves AEW, becomes NXT champion, is doing all this great stuff. Now returns to TNA as like a conquering hero, is put in the main event of their pay-per-view, and Shawn Alexander is doing random tag matches on
Oh my god!
on Collision.
Wow.
I almost forgot something. Something strange happened. Oh my god! So things I don't like about the internet. The Don Callis family is not the same to whatever Paul Heyman is trying to start. Let's stop comparing the two.
Agreed.
Oh, really?
Because Paul Heyman has stars.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's one guy in that group or two guys in the group that could be a star, could be freaking Konosuke Takeshita and the proto star, freaking Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, Kyle Fletcher.
There is promise for them, but I don't know if that's going to happen in AEW.
Who does Kyle Fletcher look like? Doesn't he look like another wrestler?
He looks like a knockoff Randy Orton these days.
That's the one. That's the one. Okay, I was just making sure.
Him and Miles Bourne are like the offspring of Randy Orton somehow. Don't know.
Now the guy in NXT, he's not related to Randy Orton, right? He looked just like
he just happens to look just like him.
Correct.
Fucking, Felix said to me, "Isn't that Randy Orton's son?" I said, "I don't think so." And he goes, "No."
Randy Orton is like 40 something.
Yeah,
he's starting to do like Orton's moves and stuff. Like he
everything.
broke out the power slams last week.
Yeah, everything. I looked at him. I said,
good.
I was like, as if I didn't know any better, I would say that was Randy Orton's son. I mean, he's literally a carbon copy of him. He even has the tattoo on his side.
What was funny was the week Orton was on NXT a couple months back when he faced Devon Evans. They had an interaction with them too.
They had him backstage, and he was doing the pose, and then Orton adjusted his arms. He was like, so it's like he's paying tribute to Randy. So it's like you're allowed. He gets the pass to do it. All right, SmackDown started off the same way Raw did. John Cena comes out. He gets the big introduction, and Randy Orton comes out. And this time, Randy Orton is coming out through the entranceway with an entrance and telling John, what's wrong with you? Why have you changed? You used to believe in something. And it was just weird because I felt like it was just a multiverse of a completely different wrestling world where, Randy Orton had the nerve to tell John Cena to grow up.
That's right.
He had the nerve to tell him that maybe he should start having some children.
He should have some children.
He'll become a better person. And John Cena's response was great, that he's been a better parent than all the parents in the audience. And he's been raising their brats.
Yeah, when John Cena dropped that line, he goes, "The reason I haven't had children is because for the last 25 years, I've been raising theirs." And he's it's like, holy shit. Oh, that was really good. That was good.
Can I tell you what I think would be the ultimate full circle moment to end their match at Backlash?
What's that?
What's that?
I think Cena at one point is getting up, looking at Orton. The referee is standing right there, and Cena slaps the referee.
Oh, like
Orton
payback
did
from
to him.
Yo, I just saw that.
Backlash. Was it Backlash or No Way
Backlash.
Out?
Yeah, it was one
No,
of those.
it was No Way Out. Yeah.
Man, I
No Way
saw
Out,
that.
okay.
I saw that clip, and you could literally see them both laughing after Orton smacked him. Yo, he smacked the shit out of him. He was just laughing, and John Cena had to look away. I was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah,
That
would
would
be
to
funny.
me be the ultimate full circle moment for them.
Don't be surprised if that happens.
That would be a crazy DQ finish to end the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
People would be livid.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Bullshit, John. You're such a dick.
and then Orton gets the upper hand again. I do
Yeah.
feel like I get what you're saying, Tony, with Cena constantly like just being down and then at the pay-per-view always finding a
It was
way.
weird. Mhm.
You have to have at least one time Cena get the upper hand or something.
I know, but Cena is doing this classic heel shit where like he puts over the guy on the shows, but then come the pay-per-view when you pay the big bucks, like Malik and for instance, Nicotron, it's $50. What the fuck? Why? When you pay the big bucks to watch the pay-per-view, and then Cena comes out on top. That's literally what they usually do. I love this gimmick now with Cena. I feel like, it was odd that Randy Orton says you need to have some kids, man. That'll help you out. Orton's been he's been a follower for a while now, I guess. But
Meanwhile, Randy Orton said, "How dare you?" After everything we've been through, like kicking his father in the head, like trying to blow him up with pyro, like beating the crap out of his dad again, handcuffing him to a ring post repeatedly, hitting him with a kendo stick. Like you've done RKOing him on an open chair. You've done so much to this man that he's not in the wrong for how he reacts to you.
Agree.
yes, I don't know who's comparing.
The internet.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And here's the thing: I'm not for the tribalism for any promotion. I love wrestling all the same, but we're not. I don't see the comparison between the two. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I don't need at all. The Callis family. When I watch that, I kind of roll my eyes. First off, you have to catch me at a moment where I would be dumb enough to put on AEW long enough to see the Callis family, because I would have to pay attention long enough to be like, oh, the Callis family. Like I'm gonna tell you something. AEW takes about 5 minutes and 32 seconds before I have completely checked out. Before I'm just like, I'm done with this. I can't watch this shit.
If anything, the Callis family is a ripoff of the Heated family, and
yes,
it's definitely not the same even then. So.
Yeah. I do have one fear with this match. I think you could see it a little bit at Mania that Cody had to slow down for Cena.
Yeah.
And even though, Randy Orton is in shape right now, that the three of us combined in whatever year we want to pick that we feel ourselves look the best is better than the three of us together.
2010. 2010 for me.
Yeah, probably not the same. But I worry that the match, it'll be good enough because both of them are just are great together.
You know what I noticed?
Funny thing is, Orton. I'm sorry, Tony. Funny thing is, Orton doesn't bump that much in his matches either. So it's gonna be something that they're able to get the crowd into no matter what.
I noticed that. Like, listen, if you thought Cena couldn't wrestle in 2012, you watch him now, you're like, whoa, boy, you really can't wrestle. Like you're bad. Dude. Like it was. I didn't like the fans that are probably now like adults who grew up watching him and didn't see it because they just didn't want to because they were in that Mark phase. They had those goggles on, right? Are probably gonna watch him now. Like are watching him now and going, he was this bad. Like I don't remember it. Like and like oh no, pal, it was the same. It was this. This was what it was since 2002. But you guys anointed him as the guy. You were okay with it. I
feel like his last good year he had was 2017 because right now it's not the same. From like 8 years ago, it's not the same, obviously.
Dude, Michael Cole said it at WrestleMania. It was he said John Cena hasn't won in like 8 years at like WrestleMania, some shit, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I was
His
like,
they got me 31. The last time he won at Mania.
He beat Bray at 30. Who did he wrestle? He beat Rusev at 31.
Mm-hmm.
32 was Dallas. He didn't wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
he was there because he
he
was
won
hurt.
after that. He lost
That's
to
it, I'm
Taker.
saying.
He lost to Austin
WrestleMania
Theory.
33, he won with Nikki Bella.
Oh God!
That's his last win before any of that.
You know what, guys? I take it back. What we said last week. John Cena deserved to win the title last week.
Yeah, dude, he was a tin can for the last 8 years of WrestleMania.
But I do love him saying to Orton, and again, it goes back to what he said kind of on Raw, that he will be the last champion. That them 15 title reigns that Randy Orton had before, 14 title reigns, whatever it is, that will never that's it. He'll never have the chance.
Yeah.
You'll have
I
to
love
restart
that.
all the way
I love
from
that.
one.
I love that he said that.
Yes.
He goes, yeah, they'll make something else, but you'll have to start from one. 14 times comes home with me when I leave in December, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing these people can do about it. If he would have done this heel turn at WrestleMania and started this whole thing, I think it would have been so much
We
better.
all said that last week.
But like what I'm seeing from this is just a testament again to how John Cena can take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad, because he was given a shit opportunity or a shit, like him and Cody. I'm not going to absolve Cody. They were given a shit sandwich from The Rock, and and Cena was able to at least turn it into something that made you go, all right, this is interesting. This is interesting, even though this guy completely, fucked everything up. So John Cena had to kind of make it. He had to weave the story to make it make sense. So to me, it's just a testament to how John Cena can literally sell a ketchup popsicle to somebody wearing white gloves. Like it's just the way it is, man. That's how good he is.
Agreed.
So like to me, and like I said, it now going into this with Orton, it's interesting. I'm into it. I'm happy to see how this plays out. Like you said, Cena's obviously slowed down quite a few steps. He's literally not the 2012 John Cena or 2017 John Cena we remember, but Orton is to me, one of the most underrated. Orton to me goes up there with guys like Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig, like those underrated guys where you're like, how come when you talk about the greats, we never bring up this guy? Like Orton is going to be that guy in my mind, because a lot of people always kind of overlook him because he was in the era with the Cenas and the Triple H's and all these other guys. But Orton, to me, man, he is a fucking pro, and I think that the match it'll be entertaining. It may not be one of their classic matches they had, but it'll be entertaining.
The best thing you could say about Randy Orton is, with or without the title, he is always important.
Yeah.
He matters.
And listen, relevancy in pro wrestling is more important than championships.
And that's not just now, because now he doesn't need a title. He never needs a title run again, and he's still up there as one of the greatest of all time.
Like I said, when you get to that level, that to me is when you're a great. When a title doesn't mean anything, you're still good. Whether you win, lose, you're still great. That to me is when you've reached that level. Like a belt's not going to help you.
I will say what I did appreciate about SmackDown, maybe a little more than Raw, and we can get into the rest of SmackDown now, is I felt like SmackDown laid a lot better groundwork.
Okay.
For what directions they're going. So you had the Cena and Orton to open. You had Jade and Tiff, and I want to get Malik your thoughts on this match, because I felt for two people that aren't known as good workers and have never worked together in the ring, I thought it was a very good match.
It was a pretty solid match. I was actually surprised. One, I was surprised that we got the match in general. We knew that there were going to be some shenanigans with some outside interference.
Mm-hmm.
It was never addressed or announced as a title match. It was just recognized as a match, from what I understand. So it wasn't like that was her first big world title shot. The outside interference was good. I thought we would have got Charlotte Flair to be back into the mix with Tiffany Stratton, but we got Nia Jax, which is an interesting turn because we hadn't seen Nia Jax in a minute.
Yeah. Do you think there might be some real animosity between them two, and that's why they kind of
quite
pulled her out of
possibly
the situation?
Well, Tiff, I just saw before, she did an interview, and she said after the match they shook hands. Charlotte said she was proud of her, and like two pros, they're not friends, but they respected each other enough to shake hands and walk away.
It's like Matt Hardy and Edge, right?
Yes. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
what Charlotte wanted to do, what claimed to do with Kaiser or happened with Kaiser, isn't the same situation.
I still
But we did
love Kaiser's rebuttal.
the Dana Smith.
Yeah,
Smith.
the Shawn Michaels
my
clip, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
No, the meme of Kaiser, the only man to be accused of cheating that everyone believed.
Yeah. Remember that stupid promo where Tiffany Stratton and said like you're gonna die alone to Charlotte? Okay, and then she said Kaiser's in my DM. Well, Kaiser went on Twitter and he posted a clip of in 1996. The British Bulldog's wife claimed that Shawn Michaels tried to make a pass at her, and she was in the ring making these accusations with a lawyer. And Shawn Michaels just literally took the microphone and he goes, "With all due respect, don't flatter yourself."
Don't flatter yourself.
And that's the clip that he put up to answer back. Basically, like I've never once. Please
Okay, come on.
don't flatter yourself. Yeah, it was just funny the way he answered.
We also did have a big return on SmackDown. We
What?
got Aleister Black.
Yeah, Flair's the one that said it. Yeah,
We got Aleister Black coming
Egg,
back.
yeah. Yeah.
Who-
How
what-
did you feel about that? Like, all I saw was the Cena segment and the main event, the tag team title match. I didn't see anything else. So, how did that play out? Who'd he fight? I didn't even see.
So he didn't fight anyone. So Miz was in the ring cutting. I love Miz, but I feel like every couple of years we get this Miz promo where he just basically is like, I did this, I did that, I should get more respect, blah blah blah. And
Well, hold on a
Alice-
second. Hold on a second, Greco. Before you even go there, can we talk about the segment that transpired with the Miz and Carmelo?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I didn't see any of it.
Miz gave Carmelo a giant chain that has Andre the Giant's face and head on it because he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I was just like, this is so disgusting. And I was like, and Sin goes, I bet you they'll try to sell that. I said, I pray that they do not try to sell this chain online because they're currently selling that, what is it, that Immortal Moment, I guess, award of Austin and Brett.
Oh, the trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$1,500, by the way.
Yep.
Fuck all the way off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck that.
I was like, I probably spent that much in the Cena and
So
Jey
I
Uso
don't,
versus
I don't know if
here.
your wife could pull up a better version, but that's the similar to what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what that is.
That's the necklace that the Miz gave Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
It's just Andre the Giant's head, a gold head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Miz is basically complaining that he doesn't get respect, and the normal stuff that he could have wrestled Orton, he could have done something at WrestleMania.
Oh,
And
you know what the funny thing is? Here's the problem why I wouldn't have let him say something like that. I was like, because Karrion Kross just cut probably his best promo ever, saying something very similar to that.
similar.
So now
yes.
you're gonna go out there and do a PG version. Like, no, don't say any of that stuff. You want to go out there and talk about respect. But like, if I was Aleister Black, I'd be like, nobody respects you because you gave this guy a giant gold head. Fuck. Did Carmelo Hayes accept this happily? Like,
Yes.
was he into this
Yes.
chain thing? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But Black comes out, and before Miz goes to walk to him as what you expect, Black hits him with Black Mass, call it a day.
Okay.
I will say the difference was as soon as Aleister Black's music hit, because it was his original theme from NXT, the crowd knew right away what was happening. He had the coffin entrance where he raises up. walks to ring.
The crowd knew before because you could look as it's close up on Miz. You see the audience looking to their right.
Yeah,
it
'cause
was
they,
like,
they could see them setting
oh.
up the candles and the smoke.
Yes.
and all that
Yeah.
shit they was putting at the entrance.
I mean, the guy looks like $1 million.
Well, yeah, he
you
had
know.
all the time off to work out at his gym.
Yeah. I mean, again, it felt so different from Rusev, maybe because of the person he's attacking, or just the aura around him.
No, because you see, that makes more sense. Miz is a bad guy. He's talking shit. Out comes a babyface to shut him
Yeah.
up. Rusev made no sense. It was two baby faces, and you had him come out and beat them up. So now I guess is Rusev a heel? And Rusev had on black and white tights, his shorts. Like he looked like he could have been right in Judgment Day. Like
Yeah.
it just the way it just didn't. Like I was like, this makes no like. I was like, I'm happy he's back, But like, remember, like some of these guys that you always bring back, like there was a reason why you released them in the first place.
Yes.
It's because they were stagnant or they weren't delivering. You know, like so.
I think I don't think Black fell into that. What I will say about Black is everyone picked up on something, and I don't know if it's being done for this reason. When he came out, he had the contact in his eye. That was the eye that time that Seth tried to take from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know.
But he's been running that since AEW, so he's been sticking to that for the last 5 years.
Stuck with that long-term storytelling, which is like, all right, this guy takes this serious.
My eye no longer works, yeah. Malik, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that his wife is now the new Women's United States champion. Zelina Vega defeated Chelsea Green, which I feel like this is an opportunity, a chance for Chelsea to do bigger things now that she's lost the U.S. title. My opinion and prediction is that she is definitely in the run-in to win Money in the Bank this year. Because why not have her chase Tiffany Stratton for the title? I'm all for that as an idea. It's something brand new and fresh.
Do you think she will stick with this presidential thing, or will she?
No, because she put a thing out the other day, like saying goodbye as like president of.
Oh, it's like the concession or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, listen. Down the main was the tag team title match. The main event. That was the main event.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Commercial free.
Commercial free. Yeah, because I watched it on YouTube, and Joe Tessitore really hammered that home.
Yes.
It was commercial free. I thought it was great. Now, before we went live, Greco said people were complaining that this should have been on WrestleMania, and you said it didn't have to be because they literally did get 26 minutes because that was the time.
They were going to get that on Mania.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They would have got 12 to 15 minutes with entrances.
Yeah.
You got to take
a ladder match needs a ladder match, especially multiple tag teams. There's 3 tag teams, or right? There's 3, right? You're going to need at least 20 minutes to get at least some kind of.
And let me tell you, shout out to the Street Profits, because Malik, did you see their gear? And Pun pointed this out to me.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I immediately picked
coming
up
out.
The moment I saw it, I was like, "Oh, he's paying tribute."
Yep. Yeah, I was like, "All right, you know who's going over in this one."
I feel like I like Montez's forged look and gear. I just hate the little boots. I want him to get like a proper size boots or kick pads. And I think he wore kick pads once. Maybe he doesn't like the restriction on it because he's like a high flyer and he maybe needs like the like complete freedom on his ankles. I don't know.
I've said this for a long time. Montez Ford has superstar, like world champion potential to me.
Oh, he does, and he articulates very well. He could talk very well. So you can send him off to the morning shows, to the Conans and the Fallons, whatever.
And the one thing I had always said is when he needed to bulk up, and then I think like last year or the year before he had gotten hurt, and he came back and he was much bigger. I feel like Montez Ford, like of everybody in that match, really does have a chance.
I just want to point out the swanton over the top rope through the table.
Yep.
With like literal no effort.
Yes.
Just did it. And I was like, holy shit, man.
Which was insane. That was a crazy spot. The blockbuster spot. Which was basically the same bump going over.
The edge ladder, the edge hanging from the Ciampa hanging from the thing like
but through a table was ridiculous.
Through a table, you know.
That is what I would do in 2K.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of his size, like probably won't get the push, but Tommaso Ciampa just looks like a guy that like you could like put out there as your champion because of how he looks.
Yes, but he's too short. He's old. He's much older, right? He's got bad knee. I think he's better suited in that tag team with Gargano. They're very good. Oh, yes, babe. Okay. But yeah, man. So I don't know. It's I thought it was great. I'm fine with it being on SmackDown. I was like, this is what I would expect the main event because it wasn't on Mania. The Street Profits retain. I'm still baffled at how the Machine Guns got into WWE. Like I still like when I watch them, I'm like, how the fuck? I don't even know. Like I'm happy for them because they've been at it.
You know
for
what
a
I
while.
think with them especially is like everyone's like, oh, it was a mistake to go there. They're just gonna get buried. They're not, they're gonna be just another team. But at the same time, when you've been around as long as those guys, that WWE paycheck just hits differently. And
It's the same reason. Remember when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows signed? People were like, why are they signing again? And it's because they like the money and they live in Florida, and it's easier for them. Like that's what I'm saying. You get into an point where you at some point you have to check WWE off your list. If you've been there that in the round that long the way they have, you have to eventually cross the shit.
And you're not talking about house shows all weekend, travel day Monday, home with your family for maybe one day Tuesday to travel back. It's different now.
Oh, it's much different. There's no house shows.
You're not putting your body through that rigorous thing of constantly just being beaten on. And like you said, them guys are older. They both had knee surgeries. They both been beat up. Now it's just, hey, we made it to WWE. We did what some people said we would never do.
They did it. So now you crossed it off. So now it's good. Speaking of WWE and Dwayne The Rock Johnson has just really I don't know if he's burying. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what is his thought process of what's going on. But he went on Pat McAfee this past Tuesday or last Tuesday, and he said some interesting things. I'm sure both of you saw it and heard what he said. Then, of course, I'm sure heard the response from whether it was your Dave LaGreca's and your wrestling guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I don't know if you guys saw this on Instagram, but Dave LaGreca said something, and then The Rock responded directly to it by saying this is a work, whatever. Now, obviously, it's 2025.
Yes.
We know about, like, it's not a secret of what about, like, but like when you hear the guy who is the board of directors, right, of TKO, and he's the guy in charge of WWE, and he was involved in this storyline only to say that it's just a work and whatever just to completely dismiss it and throw it away. Do you believe that most of these people? Now, I watched a lot of the internet wrestling channels, as well as obviously Eric Bischoff and all those other guys. They all said it. It's like across the board unanimous. They all feel like he not only ruined WrestleMania, but it's like ruining the current wrestling product or whatever. We'll start with Malik. How do you feel about it when you heard him say it? And do you feel that he's ruined WrestleMania as well as wrestling in general?
Okay, I think everybody knows this work. Everybody's watching to be entertained. So it's like that goes without being said. Yeah. Do I feel he ruined WrestleMania? Yeah. If you knew that you had other commitments, you should have never even dipped your hat into the place of being an Elimination Chamber. He made mention to say that the sales were down for Elimination Chamber. He figured by throwing himself in the mix and to the story, giving that little bit of razzle dazzle. But for him not to, I mean, like we said last week, Travis Scott's music hits and everybody reacts. I don't think everybody reacts because they thought, hey, here comes Travis Scott. Everybody reacted because the next thing they wanted to see was The Rock. And they were wondering what he was going to do next. Which, when you think about it, one of the things that didn't make sense is Cena's goal was to become the 17th-time world champion, which he did, right?
Yeah.
But you are going to hold Cody for Travis Scott to hit him. Now, I know this is kind of off topic. You would have got disqualified, bro. You were in a no DQ match.
Yeah.
So really, that would have ended with a DQ. As far as The Rock ruining wrestling, I can't say he's ruining wrestling. Did he ruin WrestleMania? Yeah, by not being there. And then kind of turning around and saying, well, I would have done things differently, and this could have been executed better, or whatever it was that he said, because I can't remember exactly fully what he said, but it's like, it's funny. People were just like, The Rock, Triple H thanked everybody in his Hall of Fame speech, but he never mentioned The Rock.
I said the same thing.
I'm just like.
We'll get to you now, Greco. How do you feel about it? How did you feel about the comments and everything that's going on?
I'm disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm disappointed in is I feel The Rock is turning into someone who right now, and again, some of it has to do with comments off the air, but comments that or things that have happened throughout time. I feel like The Rock is almost becoming like Hulk Hogan right now, where when he comes out, it's just kind of like, you're here again, you know, like. And that goes for everything, because for the last 5 years, The Rock has been shoved down everybody's throats, whether it's in wrestling, whether it's in movies, his tequila. Granted, I love the man's clothes. I literally have a closet full of Project Rock stuff in there. As much as John Cena stuff that Malik has, I probably have it as Project Rock stuff in my closet.
Sorry to hear that.
Why? Because the Under Armour outlet is 10 minutes away from my house, and it's all I shop at. However, what's disappointing is we know it's fake. I'm going to use the word. We know it's not real. We know it's predetermined, but we don't need to know. You don't need to tell us that you and Cody don't really hate each other and you're hanging out together and all this other stuff. We don't need to know. Like, I am so against this stupid documentary that's coming out about
I was just about to
stuff. I didn't mind seeing the stuff about WrestleMania 9 because it was 30 years ago. I don't want to see how everything was just put together 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the sausage.
Yeah, that. That was one of the things I want to discuss. For this Unreal show that's coming to Netflix, one, I see it as them just trying to put more WWE content on their brand because, you know, Peacock is doing their thing. And they got like probably a year left or however long it is before
one more year, yeah.
over. Okay. So, you know, probably everything's going to go to Netflix.
I'm happy about that.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know. But,
well, here's the I guess I give my input now. I don't like. Listen, I feel like what had happened with this motherfucker is I got this text message here. Somebody tried to. I got one of those fraud texts.
Oh shit!
Joy.
Yeah, someone tried to spend $1,000 on my Apple Card just now.
Wow.
Just told me to say, if it's not you, say no. I just said no. That was not me. So listen, how I feel about it was like, listen, you know you fucked up, and then you just basically double down.
Yeah.
Where it was basically like, yeah, you know, the storyline made no sense, but it wasn't my idea. You know, this is the kind of idea they put in front of me, and you know, this guy hit me up and told me the ticket sales was soft for a little slow for Elimination Chamber, but like
I don't believe.
I don't believe, and I disagree. And here's why: if they're soft, it's because it costs a small fortune to go to wrestling shows now. That's why they're down. They're not down because the show sucks, because the show is pretty good. It's the ticket sales are down because it's expensive. What
you also did the Elimination Chamber at the Rogers Center, which is a baseball stadium. You're doing Elimination Chamber at a baseball stadium.
Yeah. So like I'm just kind of like, and like my wife said her favorite sign from the whole thing was the guy holding a sign that said, "This weekend financially ruined me." You know, he spent like thousands of dollars on tickets and shit. You know, so it's like that's why ticket sales were slow. It's expensive to go to wrestling shows, and then on top of that, like you can't tell me. This is the one that really got me. He was like, "Oh, I just told them, you know, this doesn't need the final boss." No, it kind of does. Because you showed up on SmackDown and said to this fucking guy, "I want your soul." Then when he said to you, and I quote, "Go fuck yourself," you then claimed John Cena's soul because now all of a sudden you're Shang Tsung and you're claiming souls in WWE. That was your fucking words, not ours. We didn't say anything about souls. You came out. Why? Because they said to you, "Hey, Rock, don't come out with the People's Championship no more because guess what, pal? You're not the champion here. That's not a real fucking belt."
A belt that Muhammad Ali apparently gave you.
He was probably, well, if The Rock can't come out with his people's belt, then he wants the people's soul, and he wants Cody's soul. And it's like, this makes no fucking sense, Rock. Well, how about this? How about you don't turn Cody because he's a white-hot babyface right now. The people love him. How about we just align you with John Cena? That would shock the fucking world. And I guess and then this is my speculation, that wasn't good enough for him. He didn't like that because in his mind, if I'm a bad guy, no one's going to want to come see my fucking movies. But newsflash, they don't want to see your movies because you're a shitty actor. It has nothing to do with being a heel in pro wrestling. You're not that good an actor. And the movies you make maybe a few are okay, but a broken clock is right twice a day. They're not fucking good. His movies suck. Like, I mean, we're gonna sit here and make believe that he's an Oscar award. No, you're a shitty actor. You're an action actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't that great an actor. Like, so don't sit here and act like you're going to change the world. He has become a giant phony, and people are seeing through the facade. Same thing with Hogan. You made a perfect example. Hulk Hogan. Hogan is like this. Hogan has been a phony his whole life, and he cannot control the facade no more, and people see through the phoniness, and that is why Hogan gets booed, because they don't want to see the facade no more. They're over it. And The Rock, he inadvertently did this, or purposely. I don't know. But doing this shit where you said soul, 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 and then now the final boss doesn't need because John Cena's like, you took John Cena's soul. John Cena was a baby face. He was just John Cena before you and Travis Scott showed up. Like, before you two morons walked into the ring and did this shit, John Cena was the good guy.
All right,
there
so
was nothing. That's you fucked everything up, and then to sit there and say, "Oh, it's fake." Who gives a shit? Are you kidding me?
It's crazy to think timeline-wise. The night after WrestleMania last year, he gave him whatever he put in his hand. Said, "Don't break my heart." We don't see The Rock until October. Bad Blood. He does the whole three fingers things. He sees that his cousin and Cody team up. He's gone. When he comes back again, it's January 6th, a very monumental day for so many people, right? Raw on Netflix.
That's what I was talking about.
I was not. Raw on Netflix. And he comes out basically posing as a babyface, posing as a heel. Very confusing. And showing love to Cody. In that very moment, you go, well, the whole story died of whatever it is that you were trying to do and accomplish. Because fast forward to the next month, you want the man's soul and you can't get it. The rumor was that Cody was allegedly going to turn heel. I don't believe that. Or that was the idea set out in mind. And The Rock would be the babyface. And that's how they would do this one-on-one match for WrestleMania 41. Obviously, Cody turned that idea down. I mean, could you blame him? He's one of the hottest faces of the company. Why would he want to switch over?
I think The Rock might be a little frustrated at the fact that some of these guys have a lot more say than when the old man was in charge. Because when the old man was in charge, you could just go to him and convince him your way is smarter, and then he would then tell everybody that this is the way they're going, or at least you would present your case, and if he liked it, he would go, all right, we'll go that way instead. It's not like that no more. It's like a trial by committee. There's so many like writers now and Triple H is like has a bunch of people.
I also think the difference now is instead of him being able to go to Vince and get whatever he wants, he goes to Nick Khan and says to Nick Khan, Nick, I want to do this. And what does Nick Khan do? Nick Khan says, all right, I'll talk it over with Hunter.
I have to go run it by Triple H.
I have to go run it by Triple H. He's the guy in charge of creative. And I think that's what bothers The Rock.
I think The Rock don't like that. I think The Rock wants creative control. The Rock wanted to walk in and said, oh, I like this, me, babyface, walking into People's Champion, Cody, now heel. Everybody hates him. So the People's Champion returns to give the people what they want. And in return, in his mind, now, obviously, speculation, hearsay, and conjecture from the Spot Monkey Radio crew, like I write this peanut gallery shit. But in his fucking mind, ego-wise, thinks, if I'm a babyface, I'm the people's champ. When my movies come out, when I'm doing these, everybody's going to go nuts because I'm the good guy. I'm the guy that everybody loves again. And it's like, you can't do that. Nope. That shit has to happen organically. You became the final boss. You took that fucking name. Nobody gave that name to you. You walked out and said, I'm the final boss. And now, if you're the final boss, then when John Cena is about to get beat, and we hear, like Malik said, we hear Travis Scott's music, we're expecting to see the fucking final boss. That's what we're expecting to see. We don't want to see Travis. Who the fuck wanted to see Travis Scott? I when I hear his music hit, I was like, what was that, a mistake? I thought they thought WrestleMania was over. Like, I'm not knowing because they've been playing the same fucking song all fucking weekend. So it's like, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You hear this song hit. This fucking retard comes out. I'm sorry for that word. And he's holding the stupid fucking hardcore belt. Why are we coming out with championships that we don't win? I don't know. This is what I'm not understanding anymore. It makes you fucked it up, Rob. You fucked it up.
Are you saying I didn't win this? This was earned, okay?
Yeah.
But
I won this, okay?
You're right, Tony. And
I have
it's
the
also-
receipt for it.
You
have the receipt for it.
you literally set up this program where you could have did the easiest thing ever. It could have been Rock and Roman night one. That could have been your main event. That's what you were leading toward, especially when you did the whole thing where you did your finger thing and the cutthroat. You were going for Roman, and then if you wanted to do where night 2 you were going for Cody, you wanted to main event both Night Rocks. Nobody would have been mad because it would have told the story.
Oh, I would have been.
Greco.
But at
Hold on a
least,
second.
but no. But you could have at least told a story. There's no story with what he's doing. He's literally acting like the spoiled baby that he didn't get his way. I think what this all has to do with is last year, I think the fans turning and not wanting to see him versus Roman last year, and the fans wanting to see Cody versus Roman.
But here's the thing. The reason why was because at last year, when he walked out and he was going to fight Roman was a white-hot heel. Roman was doing the tribal chief, and he was going to come in as a good guy and become the new tribal chief. That shit that poofed up into a cloud of smoke when everybody realized, oh, no, wait a minute, they want Cody. They want this story thing to end. They want him to finish this story. And you had to swallow that and be like, all right, well, I guess I can't fight Roman. And then when you probably came back into the writing room and was like, Eric, I want Cody's soul, and I think we should turn Cody heel, and I'll come back as the people's champ, and I'll win at WrestleMania 41, and everybody will love me again, and Cody now is your white-hot heel. And they were all in the writing room going, no, that's fucking stupid. Why would we do that? And he's just like, well, because The Rock says, well, I have bad news and good news, and they're both the same. The Rock has no say here in this writing room. You may be the board of directors, but when you come to Nick Khan's going to go through us. So shut the fuck up and either insert yourself in a way where you'll help the story or go do another fucking movie. It's one or the other. We don't need this bullshit. So it's like he put a plate of shit on their table and was just like, oh, by the way, I didn't get what I want. Now you deal with the mess. And he went home. And instead of just turn around going, well, we need you for WrestleMania. And he just went, well, I'm not coming to WrestleMania because The Rock doesn't need to be there. The final boss doesn't need to be inserted there. But and this is the thing with Triple H. I was watching an interview with Triple H where he says, Vince had a way where he would just make you do, like he would say things like, you son of a bitch, you got to do it. Right. And you would wind up doing it. Right. Where Triple H was, well, I don't really do that. And I think sometimes Triple H needs to. And he said it because sometimes I wish I had that what Vince had. And I think like this is one of those moments where he needed it. Where he could have called The Rock or looked The Rock right in the face and go, listen, you stupid fuck. You want this guy's soul. This guy said, go fuck yourself. You took the biggest baby face we've ever had. You took his soul. That's not enough for you. You still need Cody to turn heel.
Here's the problem. Even if Triple H makes that phone call, you know what Rock says? Click.
Well, but at least Triple H says, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. And at least then like we need to rework this because he's a fuckface. Because you need to know in these moments because it's shit like at WrestleMania where you get that dud where Cody's sitting there like a fucking moron holding the title and John Cena who's like, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Like, what are you doing? And you know what the funny? Steven Richards said this thing and I was like, you know what? He's not fucking wrong. We know what John Cena and Travis Scott did to you. If you wallop Cena with the title, we're not going to boo you. We're gonna cheer you because you now said fuck you. I can be a good guy still, but have some edge to me. That's what we wanted to see. Instead, you just like I can't do it. This guy kicked you in the nuts. This fucking other guy punched you in the face. Apparently, popped your eardrum. They've been fucking talking shit about you. He's called you nothing more than a mark, a fan, a pathetic loser. You got your shit tattooed on your neck. I'm going to take the title from you, and I'm going to erase the fucking shit. All this shit he said, that's not enough for you to just take that belt and wallop him with it and just go home as the champion still?
It looks weird all the more because, people are going to try to claim, well, Cody, that was his hero, blah, blah, blah. But when there was a chair in the ring in his match with Kevin Owens. It didn't stop him from using it. What's
Stop,
the excuse
exactly.
here?
Right.
This is exactly
Right.
this is what I'm saying, dude. There was just so
And-
many things where it's like it made no fucking sense. That's why
I'm gonna-
people are so disappointed with the ending. And then to feed them a treat where you're like, here comes Travis Scott. You think the final, but I think that was Triple H going like this to The Rock.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be you fucking idiot, and now we have to send this moron out. Where like, and how big of a letdown was that? He punched you in the face. Apparently, everybody was angry that he did it. You were supposed to give him the receipt of a lifetime, and all you did was crossroads him.
Yeah,
didn't
that
punch
was-
I'm
in
going
the
to give
mouth.
you one even better. I'm going to give you one
I get
even
what you're
better.
saying.
With the way things are going and from what the rumors are, I can't wait for that Travis Scott tag match against Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny.
Oh,
But
my
you know what?
God.
Now, but now it's going to be Travis Scott and John Cena, where everybody would have probably wanted to see Travis Scott and The Rock, the final
Rock.
boss. He's rolling
Yes.
with the final boss. You would rather want to see Cody Rhodes. Listen, you put a gun to my head and you say, which pay per view at main event do you want to watch more? John Cena and Travis Scott versus Bad Bunny or Cody Rhodes, or The Rock and Travis Scott versus Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny? I would choose The Rock and Travis
The
Scott.
Rock.
Or with
Yes.
John Cena and Travis, because then at least John Cena can fight for the title somewhere
title,
else on the
yes.
card and continue his fucking bad guy thing. That's all I'm saying. This
I'm
fucked
gonna-
everything up, and he doubled down on it. And listen, if you go back to the Attitude Era, I was always a Stone Cold Steve Austin guy. I never liked The Rock. I always felt like he talked in rhymes. Didn't give a fuck how he spoke. I didn't care about his. I always said this to my brother, and he hated it. I'm like, The Rock has this weird fascination with people's asses. He wants to stick things up his people's asses. Why? How come Stone Cold just wants to kick your ass, but this guy wants to turn things sideways, shine them up real nice for you, and then shove them up your ass? I was like, I don't understand what his fascination. Everybody's a Rudy Poo candy ass, monkey ass. Everybody's like, it's always the same dumb shit with him. Exactly. So I always saw through the shtick, and even now, like when he came back with the final boy, I was telling Malik, I would put the sunglasses on. The promos, the same shit. He just says people's names, and then it's like his promos are they're not the same no more. They're not good. He's not good. I'm fine with him. You shouldn't have showed up. John Cena should have turned heel at WrestleMania. Should have been a desperation move. Kick to the balls. I'm taking the belt because I want to be 17. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me anymore. I have the record now. I'm the winner now. Now I can do whatever the fuck I want. Now, you see how many dates? I can now roll with this. I can just show up. I don't have to wrestle. He could have literally done everything he's doing, but it would have hit so much harder because he would have turned heel at WrestleMania, and that moment would have lived, forever. And it didn't need The Rock. That's all I'm saying. Like, The Rock, to me, I'll agree with everybody.
You want to talk about pricing out? And I literally just looked it up on Ticketmaster. 2 tickets for the second to last row at this upcoming Saturday night main event that's going to be right down here next month in Tampa. Okay, 2 tickets with Ticketmaster fees is almost $250.
And that's
for
in
me
the
to
last
sit at the top, that's for 2 tickets combined. That's
I
for the
didn't
last row. So if me and my wife wanted to go to that pay-per-view, just to walk in the door, you're talking $250. You're talking parking, food.
Yeah.
You're talking a $400 or $500 experience, and I'm sitting almost at the top of the arena.
At that point, you're watching it on TV. Might as
I'm
well
watching
stay home.
it at home.
Yeah,
The
stay
fact
home.
that somebody was sitting in sitting so high up because they couldn't see the ring for Mania, they started watching it on Peacock.
Dude,
I am
Yes.
very curious.
babe, you have some start comments. You can start bringing them up before we wrap it up. Now, listen,
Yeah,
I agree with
I'm-
everybody. The Rock fucked things up, and The Rock doubled down on it, and that's why he looks like an asshole. And here's the funny thing, too. All this shit, buddy, if you would have just showed up at WrestleMania and done business, people would have went to your movies. People would have wanted it because now the final boss is a character that they can enjoy.
No,
You understand?
you know why? You know why people don't go to his movies? Because it's literally the same exact movie every time.
I know it's really bad. So it's 25 appearances, right? I think it's about 25 appearances left for Cena, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think it was
Yes, yeah.
26. on
27 was
and
Monday, 26 on Friday night.
Like I said,
also-
it's going to be a mad scramble to take the title off him because they're going to be
Yeah.
terrified that he's taking it away.
You know, since you guys spoke about tickets, I'm very curious to see because I know they go on sale this week for SummerSlam. I'm going to let you guys know the price numbers for those. By the way,
Yeah.
I got to say, Tony, a spoiler for you guys. I have to just let this out for the people watching. when we usually go to just pull up, topics and everything, we usually discuss or whatever throughout the week or over the weekend. We really didn't get the chance to do that. Tony this morning said we're going to discuss about The Rock ruining wrestling. So if you heard his good, I don't know, probably 10-minute rant about The Rock, he really had to get that off his chest.
I was furious. I was watching. I didn't even know he was going to be on Pat McAfee that Tuesday, so I didn't know what was going on. So the next way, like Wednesday, whatever, I go on the internet and because of Spot Monkey Radio, I get so many internet wrestling channels now.
Mm-hmm.
Like just people. I mean, and this one guy, I've sent you guys the clips. The guy that my wife always yells when I give him airtime, but that guy JD from New York, he. His take on it, I was like, holy shit. I was like, when was The Rock on Pat? I didn't know. And then I watched, I think it was Steven Richards or Dutch Mantel's take on it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went and found the clip and I listened to the interview all the shit that he
became just as angry.
And I was just like, I don't fucking blame them. What the fuck's wrong with him?
That's true. That T-shirt that The Rock had to Vegas, I was like, bro,
yes,
you weren't even there.
That shirt, there was a shirt that everybody was taking pictures. Like, what the fuck is this? Finally, The Rock has come back to Vegas. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because he made sure he tweeted and told everybody. Maybe somebody saw that picture within WWE and was like, yo, you better tell Dwayne that he better let everybody know that he's not going to be here today. Like, because people are, they saw this shirt, they assume.
Dwayne and Hogan, he got a lot in common. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, one's a real American, and the other is, a final boss.
Yeah, dude, this was botched. You know what this feels like to me? You know what this feels like to me? This feels like the invasion angle, where you think it's going to be great. You think like, oh my god, they have all this shit. Like they just bought WCW. This is going to be the craziest couple of months in WWF, and it was just what you got. And you're just like, oh, this sucks. That's how I feel about this angle.
So for me, of course, the invasion angle was not great. Not going to go too deep into it. But for what we got as matches, it was enjoyable. Was everybody expecting the big guns to be let out? Yes. But would they have really won many matches? Probably not, because, everybody used to say, oh, whenever Vince debuts X, Y, and Z, they wind up losing. Well, isn't that what Tony Khan is doing today? How come nobody's opening up their mouths except for us to say anything?
Because God forbid we talk about little Tony Khan. I'm going to start calling him that, by the way. Little Tony Khan in his little ivory castle. Oh, shit, you fuck.
You fucking Mark!
Sorry, I had to make sure I got that in. Little Tony Khan in his little ivory castle.
Deliberately sandbag, spot on tone.
It's the truth. I mean, listen, that'd be like we sell the whole thing. Shawn Michaels wins the Royal Rumble in 1996. We're going to sell the boyhood dream, right? This guy Jose Lothario comes out. Oh, he was such a great guy, and then the very next day we don't talk about it. We just sold this thing to you, the boyhood dream. But come WrestleMania, it's just a regular wrestling match between Shawn and Brett. Nothing happens.
No. I'll give you one better. I'll give you a better example of something like that. Mike Tyson doesn't show up at WrestleMania 14.
Oh yeah. Okay, exactly. He ripped his shirt off. He's got the DX. He's like this, right? And then that's it. Right after that, he doesn't show up again. We don't see him anymore on TV. We're like, what the fuck just happened? Mike Tyson just joined DX. How come there's nothing being said about it? Like it's that shit. And the funny thing is, the commentators, the storyline going into WrestleMania, everybody kept bringing up The Rock and how he tried to take the soul and how John Cena. So they were just kept selling it.
You know what that tells me? And then this is where I go back to what both of you said. Okay, I think at that point Triple H knew what was happening, and Triple H said, "You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna run the story the way it was supposed to be run. And when this guy doesn't show up, let him answer for it. Let him deal with it."
Because you know what? Here's the thing, and this is the one thing I'll give a lot of the internet people credit. They're not blaming Triple H.
No,
they're blaming The Rock. They're saying that Triple H he doesn't deserve a full pass because a lot of WrestleMania was not good. It wasn't just that match. A lot of it was good.
Disagree with that. I think WrestleMania was good. I think
I just think WrestleMania, it fell flat. It wasn't bad. It just fell flat, and then the ending of night 2 was really what cemented it as like a WrestleMania that you're like. To me, it's forgettable. It's not memorable.
Okay,
That's my thing. That's the only thing I
to-
take away from WrestleMania.
to summarize for me how I feel this year's WrestleMania was, there were good and bad points. There were certain stories you could invest in and you wanted to see, and there were other things where it just seemed like it was matches thrown in. So it kind of gave off, in my mind, WrestleMania 6. WrestleMania 6 had matches you knew that were going to take place, and the
Yeah.
matches that like were thrown, even if they let us know that it was going to happen, you still were just like, kind of don't care that much.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like with WrestleMania, especially the way it's structured now, you need on both cards at least 3 matches that people will talk about. And
Yeah.
I think what kind of happened is like night 2, I thought Io, Bianca, and Rhea was great.
Yes.
But
But
the
like I said,
problem is
There's some good moments. There's some
Yes,
good matches.
I
But
thought
like
that
in
was good.
terms of
I
like
thought-
the what like
the four-way was great. The problem is, after that you had the Randy Orton Joe Hendry thing, which was a great moment.
yeah,
But,
it's not
you know,
memorable.
I think the ending is what kind of messed that all up. I think if we get a decent ending, if we get any other ending, I think we sit here and say, you know what, night 1 wasn't great except the main event, but night 2 was really good.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't no like moments where you were like, "Fuck, like, this was so good that I don't care how bad." Like the rest of the card could have sucked. This was so crazy. And to me, that moment would have been John Cena turning heel. It wouldn't have mattered
Yes.
what happened on the
Yes.
two nights because everybody would have been talking that night. John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes squarely in the balls because that was the last ditch effort to get 17, and that's how he won. Like people would have been talking about it, and then when he could have came out the very next day and done that breakup shit with the crowd as the champion. Like I don't need you no more. I have this. Like I don't need you people no like that kind of, and it would have made so much more sense, at least in my opinion. The Rock, I felt like inserted himself like he did last year. He tries to insert himself at times, and he tried to insert himself last year in the main event, and it backfired on him. And then he tried to insert himself this year, and he set something up that could have changed, that could have really been something memorable, and he completely fucked it up. Because listen, Stone Cold Steve Austin was there. He almost killed somebody. I firmly believe that ATV and all that shit was for the main event. It was going to be for if Rock showed up, and he fucking and then Austin comes out to help clear the ring, and then it would have came down to the kicking the balls finish for John Cena. That's really what I believe. I think The Rock really threw a monkey wrench because he didn't get what he wanted, and he bounced. If I had to close that argument, I'm sorry I went on a rant. I'm sorry I said the.
Hey, listen, you had to let it go.
I get angry. It's simple.
No,
It's
it's-
simple fucking shit, dude. Don't do something stupid and then double down on it. And like even Pat McAfee, I'm disappointed in you. They didn't turn around and go, "But you took his like why? What the fuck? Then why say it?" Because if I was,
So you know what really bothered me? I was reading before because again, like what like Malik said, once you brought up about the Rock thing, I wanted to get more into it. It annoyed the shit out of me that The Rock came out and said that he was texting McAfee during the main event of night 1, telling him about how great he's doing, how awesome the show's going. Why are you texting an on-air personality while they're doing their job? Why is it so important to talk to him at that moment in time?
control. Thank you.
Yeah.
The dynamite dropping, lady.
Yeah.
Yes, control because he knows that he can. Because I'm TKO board member. I'm the guy in charge. I'm going to text you. You're doing a great job. But like, okay, you know what the funny thing is, Dwayne? You're telling him he's doing a good job, but you're sitting on your stupid fucking ass in Hawaii when you should be in the locker room preparing for night 2. You should have been at work. You're telling him he's doing a good fight. Yeah, he's doing a great fucking job. How come you didn't do your job? You set up a
exactly.
storyline and then didn't fucking finish it. And
You
you have
did,
your audacity to
Greco.
tell everybody else they're doing a good job. You're doing a shitty job, you fucking idiot.
He snapped. Look what you did to this man.
It's fucking irritating, man. Don't do shit like that, man. Don't. And then to go on Pat McAfee and be like, the final boss wasn't needed. Newsflash, you fucking moron. You're not needed at all. You insert yourself. No one is calling you. Is Ari Emanuel calling you? Ticket sales are soft. Shut the fuck up. They're not soft. They're not soft. You're a liar. You lied through your teeth because you're trying to make it seem like, oh, it was Triple H's fault that it sucked. It wasn't mine. No, fuckface, because Triple H was there. You weren't. You should have been there. And then you could have helped this make more sense. And then everybody would have won. Everybody would have went home happy. You decided that they're not doing what I want. And you went and did the motherfucker. This ain't DC Comics. You can't walk in and say, I'm not going to lose to Superman. They're going to tell you, fuck you. You're not Superman.
Yeah. And look
you.
what happened because of it. You got
Exactly.
rid of the best Superman that you had.
Exactly. All the fans from DC Comics aren't pro wrestling fans, you fucking dummy. They're not going to walk in and go, The Rock says he. No, you dummy. They know who's supposed to be in those movies. They know Shazam is supposed to fight Black Adam. I know Superman crosses paths with him, but it's supposed to be Shazam, not fucking Superman. You did that shit. You fucked up the DC universe. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's the dumb shit that it was in that contract that fucked everything up. And then you come to wrestling and try to insert yourself the same fucking way. The problem is the game passed you by. It passed you by. There's better Samoan wrestlers. Sorry. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, they're all better than you by miles in comparison.
Yes,
You
I
are not
love it. Let the
anywhere
dark side in, Tony.
I mean, fuck you. Fuck The Rock. I am so sick of The Rock. I've been sick of The Rock since 1997. Since 1997, when Austin threw his Intercontinental belt into the water. He should have thrown him in the water too.
With it.
Okay? He sucked. He sucked then. He sucked in fucking 01. He sucked in The Scorpion King. He sucked in all his fucking movies. And now he sucks.
I like the rundown. I thought that was pretty good.
He was pretty solid and Be Cool.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Cool, he was
a
great.
small fucking part with John Travolta and all those other fucking actors. Don't tell me he was the star of the movie. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Okay? Fuck off. He was good and Be Cool. Yeah, because he's acting opposite Vince Vaughn. Yeah, that's why he's good. Get the fuck out of here.
He was.
I'm finally happy that everybody has seen through the bullshit Rock facade. Good. Now you know that he sucks.
I think this is the perfect time to say have a good week to everybody.
Yes. I hope everybody has a fantastic fucking Monday. I've been holding this in for a week. That's why I wanted to talk about it. All right. That shit pissed me off. I can't believe he would. And like I said, it's in the moments where, you know, your whole life, you sit. It's like the moment, Greco, when we were in Chicago and Matty Ming had to meet CM Punk. He had to meet CM Punk. And I kept telling him, CM Punk is not a nice guy. He's not going to be nice to you. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Okay. CM Punk walks right by him, doesn't even acknowledge his existence. And I felt so validated because I was right.
You know what the difference is? CM Punk was really nice to me. You know what the difference was? I paid for the picture with CM Punk.
He had to be nice to you because you paid for him to be nice to you. Okay? But fucking I've been saying this about The Rock for years. He sucks. I don't know what anybody. I never saw it. He was Hogan to me. Well, Hogan was serviceable in the ring, okay, but he was good enough on the mic to hide everything else. He was always that way to me, and he will always be that way to me. And anybody who tries to explain otherwise, you won't convince me otherwise. And I'm happy he exposed himself for the fraud that he is. I'm happy that we finally saw it. So that being said, I want everybody to have a great Monday. Hopefully you watch Monday Night Raw, all right, and see where this storyline goes. I like to see how it plays out. I'm happy to see Paul Heyman finally getting his.
When is Backlash?
Backlash is May 10th. I'm going to it's next weekend, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a prayer that between now and next Monday, The Rock doesn't say anything, because this will clearly strike up more venom that Tony has within himself for The Rock.
Listen, I don't scream like other internet guys, but I gotta say when the truth. Yeah, he was great. Get the fuck out of here, Tooth Fairy.
Dynamite dropping fun. Dynamite.
The Tooth Fairy has nothing on Mr. Manny.
Goddamn right, doesn't. Or Santa with muscles. Punk was nice to me when I met him, but we had a great conversation. Did you pay for that conversation, Nico Tronis? That seems to be the only way he's nice to people. That being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Catch Spot Monkey Radio every Monday, 10:30. I will definitely clip out this little part of me screaming about The Rock. I'm sorry.
Can we just get in me and Malik mentioning, be cool too, and I'll be cool.
Oh yeah, I'll
The
put that
rundown?
on there.
Okay.
I still can't believe that you had the audacity to tell me that he's good in those movies when you
He
know
was good in-
before. that
He
the
was
other-
good at Gridiron Gang, Be Cool, Walking Tall. Those are the movies that I enjoyed.
The game plan. The game plan.
Did I say anything in recent memory
No,
where it was good?
I'll
The
allow
answer
the
is
movie-
no.
I'll allow the movies you said. Even I'll give the rundown because that was watchable. That's okay, but fuck that guy. Fuck him. Fuck you, Rock. Dwayne.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a great.
He's like, the way that you can go to hell.
You go right to hell, Dwayne Johnson. Go right to hell. That's awesome, Nico. Have a great fucking weekend, guys.